What is up, clean freaks and filthy friends alike? Filthy Dan coming at you for another film discussion. And the party starts when the lights go out. You hear that buzzing sound? The driller killer is at it again. Let's talk about Slumber Party Massacre 2. So Slumber Party Massacre 2 was written and directed by Deborah Brock, stars Crystal Bernard, Kimberly MacArthur, Juliette Cummins, and Heidi Kozak, along with Tanis Illich as our new driller killer. Slumber Party Massacre 2 follows Courtney, who was the annoying little sister from the first film, as she is tormented constantly in her dreams by a supernatural version of the driller killer. A newer, more improved version of the driller killer. As opposed to being creepy old Russ Thorne, he's like a really Freddy Krueger-like John Travolta. That's, I think, the best way I could describe him. And it's set 5 years later. I would imagine 5 years later, because, I don't know, it makes sense because it was released 5 years later. Her character looks to have only aged 5 years, so it looks like it takes place in real time. But Courtney and her friends go up to this condo a few hours away. And they're in a girl group who happen to play some pretty decent rock. I will give them that. But anyway, they go out to this condo. They're going to jam there for the weekend. Some of them have their boyfriends invited. So everybody's getting together, having a real fun, sexy, let's get slaughtered type weekend, you know? Perfect slasher formula. This movie has that going for it, which is fine and dandy. But you also incorporate the dream quality of A Nightmare on Elm Street, where again, the driller killer in this is stalking Courtney initially in her dreams. Why? Because PTSD, that's why. And it's implied that he might have killed Valerie, who was one of the survivors from the first film. We don't get any real clear indication on that, and parts of this movie make less and less sense as it goes along anyway. Even as in your face as it is, there's aspects of this movie that make fucking zero sense. But the girls are out there at the condo partying, you know, have a few drinks. They get a little tipsy, you know, start dancing, start stripping just a little bit. That was a real fun moment, actually. I did dig that scene. But these dream sequences that appear, like, they start to become more frequent as the film goes along, of course. Courtney has premonition dreams near the start, but as the film goes along, she has what feel like more like waking dreams, like waking nightmares. While she's awake, totally conscious, she's having these fucked up hallucinations of gore, violence, people dying, her sister dying, her friends dying, and little hand in her sandwich. I mean, it's some pretty brutal shit. One of her friends in one of her waking visions actually has her friend throughout the movie starts to notice that she's got blackheads coming on and shit. And she's complaining about it, and you see she's got all these little ointment spots on her face. And she has a hallucination that this girl's face turns into one big giant zit and just starts exploding this fucking really golden yellow pus. It was pretty solid effect there for what it was. I mean, I enjoyed that, but I don't know, this film is totally different from the first film. It takes a complete 180 turn. Where the first one was almost a straight up slasher with a hint of humor. Like, just sprinkle a little bit of humor in here. This one kind of takes the humor, does a little bit more with it. But it also kind of, where it adds a little more humor, it kind of pulls back some of the sexiness that was in the first film. Sure, there's a great deal of it in here, but I feel like they really pulled back on it. That was kind of disappointing. Another thing they do that is interesting on the whole is they do make it kind of a pseudo-musical. They give, of course, the driller killer, he's got not a standard drill. He's got this fucking sick-ass guitar with a drill head on for the headstock. totally unique weapon. And he sings when he goes to kill his victims. Whenever he kills Juliet Cummins' character, he's singing. Whenever he's chasing Courtney and her other friend, he's singing. And he dances too. So that's different. It's like a Nightmare on Elm Street meets Rocky Horror Picture Show, really, in the third act. And those are both films I really enjoy, but they don't belong together. But this film goes batshit crazy. It's connected to the first one, but it takes place in what feels like a totally separate universe. Like, they're connected, yes, but you could watch this one on its own and it's like, whatever. This could not be anything, there could be nothing further from the original that this is. Like, this is that. I had fun with it, but I didn't know what to make of it, and I honestly still don't know what to make of this film. I went into this one wanting to like it very much. I've heard that most people really do dig this one. Some people even say that they prefer this to the original. I was trying to be on that wavelength. I didn't get it. You would think that this would be a movie almost fucking handcrafted just for me. You got the hot girls? Yes. You got some cool kills? Yes. You got the fucking rockabilly? Fuck yes. You would think, throwing all those together, that I would be probably the happiest person with this film. I don't know, man. It was a frustrating film. There's a few issues with it. I mean, one thing that this film does better real fast before I start really getting into the complaint department, the characters in this are pretty solid and serviceable. You get horror alumni with Juliet Cummins and Heidi Kozak, who both appeared in Friday the 13th films. Juliet Cummins was in Part 5. She also had an appearance in Psycho 3. Heidi Kozak was in Friday Part 7. So it's like, okay, you kind of got me with the alumni. And the characters, again, are kind of fun. They still feel real like they did in the first one. At least the girls do. The boyfriends, they go from bland to stupid surfer caricature. There's certainly fun to be had with the characters. The acting, I think this really kind of reflects on the way the characters are. Like, I think the characters are a reflection on this. The acting feels, in a lot of ways, about a half a step down. And the acting in the first one wasn't even that great. Of course, I think a lot of it had to also do with the way this film was directed. Like, you feel like you can see what they're trying to do here. Like, I see a really good film inside of this. But it just, it comes across so fucking weird. The way that it's shot, a lot of when the characters are talking to each other, they're doing, like, straight on angles, like right here. Like, what the fuck, man? You don't do that. You kind of want to have that go for some side angle, so it's not awkward, like the characters looking right into the camera. No, when they're talking in this film, in a lot of the scenes, they're talking straight into the camera. It's like, one, you're giving me a headache. Two, your dream sequences are making no fucking sense. You got the characters looking right into the camera. I don't know. Minor nitpick. The color grading on some of those shots too, like, there's one particular shot when the girls are doing a band practice in the garage before they decide to go out to the condo, where Courtney's love interest, later boyfriend Matt, comes over, and after the practice they kind of walk into the backyard, and it's got this really it reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street 5 with its color grading back there in the backyard, and just really kind of an interesting shade of blue that's not quite scary, but it's kind of dreamlike. And the way they're fucking framing these characters, especially the boyfriend, it's very close and personal. And his line delivery it just makes him come off like such a fucking creeper. And I'm thinking, you seem like a nice guy, but I want you to die first. Just for your creepy fucking line delivery. I want you to die first. And eventually he did die first. But yeah, he does eventually get a relationship with her. You see them kind of get together. Honestly, the first time around watching this, I didn't even realize that he was the same character throughout this film. I don't know if it just had something to do with him being a boring character or forgettable. But him and the other guys were definitely pretty boring and forgettable characters. That's definitely one complaint I got. The girls are pretty fucking memorable. I mean, the girls are fucking awesome in this film. I don't think I have a really negative thing to say about the chicks in this film. I like that Juliette Cummins is in here, because you know, if you're getting an 80s horror movie with her in the cast, we will see some skin. That's just science. In this film, I felt kind of dragged in the first two acts. I mean, sure, you get the dream sequences that kind of make you feel like we're getting scared, but it's really just like, ugh, you're showing us shit that we're gonna see anyway. You're making it look goofy with the way you're framing these shots. I mean, it was pretty well handled with some of the little jump skip frames that you see going on in some of the dream sequences, like just the way you see the driller killer moving in the dreams beforehand. But they're showing a good amount of stuff from the first film. Of course, they're showing us things that we're going to see later. That's kind of what the first act relies on. You get a little bit of that in the second act. Of course, you get the hallucinations, but come the third act, I think that's where this film really picks up. And it was actually, I was losing interest heavily in the first two acts. I really was. The third act, for as fucking what the hell is this that it is, was pretty fucking enjoyable. I mean, you got the killer chasing the girls singing songs. That's fun. But there's literally no killing until the third act. Like, the first kill more or less sparks the third act of this film, and everybody else gets killed off in such rapid succession. You almost forget how most of the characters do go in this film. When Courtney and Kimberly McArthur's character are running through this little construction zone, the killer's just kind of doing his thing, you know, having fun, singing his songs, chasing them, being kind of stealthy, being kind of creepy. Like, you see Kimberly McArthur's character just sort of fall, I guess is what we'll call it. Like, she kind of turns, and then next thing you know, she's hanging off the end of this fucking building under construction. You can totally tell that, like, Kimberly McArthur in this film has, like, dirty blonde kind of hair. Real straight. When she's hanging off the side of that building, she's got, like, shorter fucking almost frizzy looking brown hair. Like, could you have tried to at least hide the stunt double? And honestly, at that point, I'm trying to decide, did they do that on purpose, or was it just a fuck up? Was it, like, I want to know, was that like the pink faced blonde hair Michael Myers in Halloween 4, or was it just like one of those things, hey, we'll just throw that in there as a joke. I don't think people will catch it. If they do, haha. I don't know what the fuck that was. That was fucking ridiculous, and she falls to her death anyway, and I don't know, really weird. At the end of the film, when Courtney's the only survivor after she burns the driller killer alive, which was pretty cool. He's all light my fire, and she burns him with a blowtorch, and a really bad fire effect, but the fire stunt going off the building I thought was pretty cool. But otherwise, the death of the killer was pretty uneventful. I literally almost forgot about it. I just remembered it as I'm talking right now. But he's all, light my fire, baby. Because, like, there was a Rock quote in there. A Rock joke. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can remember that. But he falls to his death, I guess. So at the end of the film, Courtney's the only survivor. You see them taking Kimberly McArthur's character away on a gurney. They stop, and she pulls the sheet off of her face. Her eyes open up, and in the voice of the driller killer, you just hear a little laugh. And that's kind of like a fake out. Courtney wakes up next to Matt, but Matt turns out to be the driller killer. That turns out to be another little fake out. Courtney wakes up in the mental institution, which is where we've more or less seen Valerie throughout the runtime of the film, during the dreams anyway. And then a giant version of the drill comes through the floor of her room, which you could totally tell was just the standard size drill with a little fucking miniature set. And that's literally how the movie ends. I almost want to speculate that this whole movie was just a dream in Courtney's head the whole time. Like, I seriously believe that perhaps seeing what she saw back in the events of the first film, that fucked her in the head so bad that she's been the one in the mental institution the whole time. Valerie's probably still out and about doing whatever Valerie does. But that's just a possibility. That's literally the only way I can make sense of this fucking movie. And I don't know. This movie, I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to walk away from it and say, you know what? I fucking love Slumber Party Massacre too, man. I don't know. It was an interesting 70 minutes. It was an interesting 70 minutes, man, I tell you. I really wanted to like it. I'm trying to tell myself that I like it, but it's like, it's fun, but I don't really like it all that much. It's too far removed from what the first film was doing, and I don't know, I guess this is how people felt whenever, say, like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 came out, and it's totally changing the landscape of the rules of the film. I get that now, because that's what this fucking film is for me. It's changing everything we're kind of led to believe in the first film. Where the first film was grounded, this one takes place in a total fucking fantasy. A rock and roll fantasy, mind you. I did appreciate the whole rock and roll approach they had to the film. And I don't know, just the way this film comes together, it just feels like a total mess. Again, I want to like it, but I don't. I really don't like it. I don't think I ever need to see it again. If I'm looking to have some fun, I can put it on, but I don't know. That's all it is. It's just stupid turn off your brain fun. I definitely don't like this one as much as the first one. I can safely say at this point, I prefer the original Slumber Party Massacre. But let's stop it with the negativity and move on to the filthy features. As always, we start with favorite kill, and my favorite kill in this one is the one that starts all the kills. That is Courtney's boyfriend, Matt. They're about to start fucking, and Courtney, I guess, in her dreams has actually been told by her sister real quick that don't go all the way. You can't go all the way. So I guess that's what brings the killer about. But her and her boyfriend are about to start fucking, and she's like, oh, but I haven't. And then you see the fucking new driller killer gone all the way. And I don't know, this scene was edited fucking weird. But you eventually get it to where Courtney's over here on the other side of the bed, and her boyfriend is now sideways. And you see the drill just fucking come right through his fucking chest. Nice little fucking splurt of blood. And his fucking arm is severed, and she's like, no, you're not real, you're a dream. The driller killer fucking grabs the dude's arm. Does this look like a dream to you? Throws the arm onto the birthday cake, and it was a cool kill. I really like it because of the gore that we get on display there. But otherwise, I don't know, I felt that's really the only kill that's worth mentioning, like, solidly in the film. Let's move on to the smutty sightings. Now, as I said earlier, with Juliet Cummins in this film, you know there's going to be nudity. Again, it's almost the law. There's this little party scene where they're having a little pillow fight. Fucking starts, they're all drunk, you know, starts shaking the fucking bottle of wine, champagne, whatever the fuck it was. Gets all the girls wet, and you think, okay, this is about to escalate. It's a good portion of tease, but Juliet delivers the goods. Get her nice and topless. You even got this part where she's like pole dancing using a fucking, like a standing lamp. While she's kind of riding on that lamp, you know. I'm thinking, hey, if you lick that wall, I'll do some funny lamp shit too. But we get a good amount of her, and that's about it. We kind of get teased by Heidi Kozak, and the other two girls, they did not deliver. Way to fucking tease the audience. Roger Corman, I think, should have been a little stricter about the nudity in this film. But we got what we got, and I appreciate what we got. We also get off-screen sex noises, courtesy of Juliet Cummins, because thank you. And that's about it as far as that goes. That the off-screen sex noises happened on 2 separate occasions. And I also have a quick feature that is going to be an exclusive to this film, to this video. Unless I come across another horror musical. That's going to be favorite song. That's going to be Can't Stop Lovin' You. Performed by our Driller Killer. Fun little song that's playing in the background while he's chasing the girls through the construction zone. It's got that nice rockabilly feel to it. Can't go wrong with that. So, Can't Stop Lovin' You. Great song addition. Like, I really did enjoy all the songs in this film, actually, so I will give it that. But yeah, in closing, everybody, this one, it didn't sit well for me. It was fun, but it's like, it's kind of like how falling down the stairs is fun. It's like, yeah. And then you get to the bottom and you're fucking in pain and sick feeling. That's Slumber Party Massacre 2 for me. If you want some fun for 70 minutes that you don't need to use your brain for, then fine, go ahead and watch it. I wouldn't recommend it personally, but this one seems to be the fan favorite of the bunch. I don't see it. I mean, I could see it, but I don't get it. I see the charm. I should have liked it, but there was just something about the way this film was handled that just didn't sit well with me. The direction by Deborah Brock, I think, is really what screwed this film up for me. I'm speculating, but I think that's what it was. This film, I think, could have been miles and away better. I should have liked this film, but I didn't. And again, I think it was Deborah Brock's fault. Nothing against her personally, but I think the way she handled it is the proverbial ball drop for the film. Maybe one day I will like it. Who knows? But, as always, thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like and share this video, and if you have not already, make sure that you pull a knife out, make sure it's really fucking sharp, and stab the fuck out of that subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra filthy, go ahead and leave a comment down below. What is your favorite sequel that drastically deviates from the film that came before it? Let me know what you guys think, and as always, stay filthy.